been in my data and spreadsheet era lately, and I have been loving objective facts. IMDB is not the end-all be-all of if a season is good or even if an episode is good, but it's a good barometer of understanding how the audience is perceiving storylines, what production is done, the edit, the characters involved, etc. And so today we're going to talk about the premiere episode of every single season and how that was rated by IMDB from lowest to highest rated. I will be blind ranking each premiere as well as discussing why I think that these episodes were rated the way they were on IMDb. Let's get into this. Papa's had a stressful week, so we have a shot of whiskey, 2 parts cherry cola. Give me strength! Before we get into this, I just want to say thank you to all my patrons as well as my Extravaganza Extra members. By y'all supporting in that way, it does help me continue doing this. So I went and did all the statistical background work, and the lowest rated premiere episode of all of them is season 13's The Pork Chop. It is rated at 6.3 out of 10 stars. Woof! I honestly do not blame IMDb for thinking this is the worst premiere of all of them, and in my blind ranking, I am also going to put it at the very bottom of the list. The thing with season 13's premiere is that it happened right in the middle of lockdown. Season 12 was happening at the beginning of lockdown, and I think we were all desperate for drag. We were desperate for some type of connection with queerness because a lot of it got cut off from us. So when season 13 rolled around and restrictions were loosening, but not quite to the level that they were by the end of season 13, because a lot got lifted as that season went on, I think a lot of us were feeling frustrated with the format. It seemed like, well, maybe they legitimately are cutting half of these girls. I would assume that they probably thought that in the moment. We're watching quite literally a Stanford prison experiment happen in real time, and then we as the audience are meant to absorb all that information while not being in on the joke that they're not actually being eliminated. Me and several of my friends all thought, oh, well, they probably can't have that many queens in one space. They're only allowed to have gatherings of 12. So they probably have to cut this cast down really tight because a gathering of 14 queens is not really going to be viable for the restrictions that are currently in place. So we're seeing all these queens get their dreams literally dashed in front of them. We think they're legitimately going home. We see their devastation, their frustration, their anger, and maybe we don't even like some of the people that they're going against in these lip syncs. Maybe we're not rooting for them in the same way that we were rooting for these underdogs. So the emotional and psychological torture that was being done to us as an audience is not gratifying in any way. This is the worst premiere of all of them. Hands down, there is no question, ifs, ands, or buts about it. So I get why it's at the lowest rating, and I would also put it there too. Coming in at a score of 7.3 in position 17 according to IMDb is season 1's Drag on a Dime. Mama, this is garbage. I truly have no idea why this would be rated so low. It's the pilot season. Yeah, there's a Vaseline filter on it, and yeah, the icon of the drag universe at the time, Pork Chop, was eliminated first. Like, that is an objective gag. I would not put this at position 17. I'm gonna be super safe and put it smack dab in the middle, right at position 9. Coming in with a score of 7.6 is season 2, Gone with the Window. This one's kind of tough. I think I understand why it's rated so low. I can assume it's the second season. There's a little more of an established idea of what the show is going to be. Some of the characters that came in, I don't know if were necessarily the most likable. Is that okay to say? I mean, this cast in general, I don't know is entirely likable. At least not for the first several episodes. A lot of them are kind of prickly, they're kind of agitating, they get on each other's nerves, there's a lot of fights and a lot of drama, and the premise is not that interesting, making them create outfits out of curtains. I don't know, I get why it's rated lower. It's not an exciting premiere by any stretch of the word. The photo shoot where they have to be on the cannons and a bunch of them lose their wigs and lashes is funny, but there's not really a lot interesting that happens. The show is still finding its footing. I would definitely put it lower. I'm gonna put it at number 16. Coming in at 7.7 is season 7's Born Naked Challenge. Mama, I may be the most blind, deluded, rotten stan fan of all of Drag Race because I love season 7. And a lot of that is 2020 vision. I'm looking at it from such a long ways away and seeing how magical that cast was. Jasmine Masters, Kennedy Davenport, Trixie Mattel, Pearl, Miss Fame, Violet Chachki, Ginger, the famous Latina liar of Drag Race All-Stars 10, Frisbee Motherfrickin' Jenkins, Tempest du Jour, Mrs. Kasha Davis, Max, most snubbed contestant probably ever, Katya for goodness sake, and Candy Ho is there. And did I mention Jaden Dior, Fierce, Fierce, Fierce? This cast is iconic and they have so much personality coming into the door. I still don't understand why people don't like this season because it is spectacular. The challenges just sucked, but the queens did their best through them. I like this first one. I like the idea of a tearaway into a nude illusion. You get some drama with Sasha not understanding the assignment. You got Jasmine's, you know, a butterfly in a cocoon. Whoosh, whoosh. It's iconic. Don't know if I love Geronimo as the intro song. I would have maybe liked Born Naked and then Geronimo be flipped to the finale. I don't think it's this low. I'm gonna put it higher. In my blind ranking, I'm gonna put it at number 6. Coming in with a score of 7.7, tied is season 3's The Queen Who Mobbed Christmas. This is another one that's confusing to me as why it's rated so low. I think season 3 is the most iconic cast of all time. Argue with the wall, I don't care. I could name all of them in order of how they got eliminated because I love that season so much, but I will not waste all y'all's time and make you skip forward. The Queen Who Mobbed Christmas, I think, is a fun concept of doing a seasonal design challenge. I kind of wish that we would see more of that. As far as my recollection is concerned, the only other time they did a Christmas theme challenge was in UK 3. And then the acting challenge in All Stars 7. But there could be a lot more Christmas themed challenges, especially design. We could have a lot more holiday themed challenges. We've only had Halloween and Christmas. Where's the Holiday of Drag challenge? Where's the Valentine's Day stuff? Oh, they did the holiday challenge in Philippines too. But we need more holiday themed design challenges, please, Drag Race. I don't really understand why this is rated so low. The initial photo shoot is fun, them bouncing on trampolines. You get some of these girlies who act like they have never ever seen a trampoline in their life and have no idea how to hop or jump or exercise any of those muscles. We've got a contestant coming back the first time it's ever happened, makes a huge impact on the competition and some of the drama and interpersonal relationships that are happening. The actual challenge itself is constructed well, they get great materials, you have a great setup, and I wish that we could see Drag Race send the queens out to get stuff from a store. I know it would be physically impossible now with NDAs and with people being caught on camera, like that would just not be possible unless they really made them dress wildly different or had them all put on masks or something while they went and sourced materials. Like that would really be the only way to do that. I don't know, I think there's ways they could put them in public, but this is a fun one. I don't understand why it's rated so low. I think it's a better premiere episode with setting up our cast than even season 7 is. We get a lot of those early storylines fleshed out, that the room is annoyed with Shangela, that Manila is grinding her axe to get a win for her and Sahara, that Raja is this kind of unpolished alt queen who's very well known, and can she live up to her name? There's so many good storylines that are already developed here, and the challenge is fun. I'm gonna put it really high up. I'm gonna put season 3 at position 3. Coming in at 7.8 is Whatcha Unpackin' from season 11. This I understand actually why it's rated where it's at. I don't know. Season 11 is a tough one. They expanded the episodes to be longer. The concept of this season was that everything was supersized now, and supersized the queens and the cast size and the episodes, and everything got plumper, which is great. You've got some bombastic personalities like Silky, a very well known in the drag universe, coming in, Nina West. Interesting alt queens like Evie Oddly, our first Canadian queen, Brooklyn Heights. There's a lot of interesting personalities that come in the room, but the stories are a little muddled. And then they're given boxes that are meant to belong to previous contestants to get fabrics that kind of resemble some colors maybe that they wore on Drag Race, if it's even that inspired by them. So it's a nice idea, a nice tribute to the OG. They do the photo shoot. It seemed misplaced. Like, this challenge should have existed in season 10. Because season 10, what? They did Drag on a Dime again. I feel like you could have done Drag on a Dime on any season in the world, but the tribute challenge to previous Drag Race contestants and the photo shoot with previous Drag Race contestants could have been the season 10 landmark challenge. Drag on a Dime really could have been an All-Stars challenge. And so I feel like it all comes across as a little misplaced. Like, we didn't do this last year when we should have, so let's do it here. I get why it's lower. I would leave season 11 pretty low. It's not one of the worst ones, but I'm gonna put it maybe at position 14? No, position 15. Next up with a score of 8.0 is You Can't Keep a Good Drag Queen Down, season 18's premiere. It has been no secret that I did not like the spotlight effect of this challenge. I liked the idea of the scrap materials, but again, it was a little misplaced in this season. It could have been much later. They could have used all the materials that were scraps from the duo design challenge, as well as that design challenge that came later where they had to exchange boxes from the eliminated queens. They could have taken all of that fabric and left it in a big pile somewhere in the back, and then near the end of the season or near the middle end, then been like, hey, remember all that stuff that y'all used? Here it is again, surprise bitch, bet you thought you'd seen the last of this, and then they've got to deal with all this scrap and make something new from it. That would have been interesting. I also didn't like the spotlight concept. And the last thing I'll say is that photo shoot challenge where they made these girls shriek, a pit of hell for me. I hated that mini challenge photo shoot. I don't ever want to see beautiful, glamorous women shrieking. There's a lot coming up, so I don't want to put it near the very bottom, because I do think there are other seasons that could be lower. I'm going to put it at 17. I'm sorry. There's not a lot of spaces left at the bottom. And I think, again, storyline-wise, we don't get a lot of good setup. Everything establishes that the Dion dynasty is the story that we're supposed to focus on, and they do almost nothing with that. It builds up, and then they get bored and stop. Coming in at a score of 8.1 is season 17, The Squirrel Games. I think I like the idea of that intro where the RuPaul squirrel is eliminating the non-girls, the ones who are not going to make it through the audition. It kind of harkens to the idea of Top Model, where they would get 30 girls together and then eliminate like 10 of them in episode 1. I almost would love to see something like that on Drag Race. I love the idea of all of these local queens that they got to come in. I did see one queen that I absolutely despise with all of my heart and soul and being, and as soon as I saw her, my first thought was, you still look like you blend your makeup with a loaf of bread. This queen was so rude to me when I was still in the bar circuit. I cannot stand her, so she soils this episode for me. We do have a fantastic set of queens though, and I think this cast is iconic. For that reason, I do want to place it higher. I'm gonna blind rank it at spot 10. Coming in with a score of 8.1 is season 5's RuPaul or Bust. It's a good premiere. This cast of queens is one of the most iconic, right up there with season 3 and season 7. They got it right. They picked all the perfect archetypes. Pageant queens, polished queens, comedy queens, Broadway queens. You've got all the different archetypes that Drag Race is always looking for. The rivals, the Alyssa and the Coco. The rising star, the Jinx Monsoon. And then someone who has a legacy to preserve, the Alaska. Queens that Ru loves instantly, like Ivy Winters. And then the last fan vote, I believe, Penetration. This group is incredible. They get the last challenge that makes them go out into the world to source their materials. It's a fun premise, and then telling them to turn trash into couture. The show is always kind of trying to replicate that same spark, and I don't think they've always gotten there, but they keep trying. We get easy to follow stories set up in episode 1. There's not a lot wrong with season 5's intro. I would argue this is one of the best premieres of all time. And I'm gonna stick to that. I'm putting it in position number 1. Coming in at a score of 8.2 is the big opening number 1, season 14. I think this is as high as it is because Cornbread makes the first couple episodes of this season so worthwhile. Cornbread is a force, and I remember getting to meet her one time when I was still in the bar circuit. I was at a club, I was doing my makeup, and someone said, "Oh, Cornbread's here." And this was years before she was on the show. And she came into the back room and was kikiing with some of the girls and was just talking. And I remember looking at her and thinking, this is a star right here. I don't even know who this person is, but they're a star. They're gonna be somewhere someday, entertaining masses. And that's exactly what happened. I don't even remember why Cornbread was there, who she was talking to, what they were talking about. I just remember being enamored by her. And she was like passing through on her way to a gig. I love this entire first episode. I think this group is great. A lot of great storylines. I love that they do the fake out of someone getting eliminated only to bring them back later. So there's a lot of good tension that happens. This is a very good premiere. As much as I don't like talent shows and mainline Drag Race, I think those should only be on All Stars. This group killed it with their performances, so I'm gonna put it higher. I'm gonna blind rank season 14 in the 5th position. I've made no secret that I really like this season, and I think it could have gone on longer with even more non-elimination episodes, because this is the cast to just watch, do whatever, for however long, and nobody goes home. They're also dynamic. Coming in at 8.2 is season 10's 10s across the board. Is it bad that this season just doesn't do it for me? And neither does this premiere. I mentioned earlier, it seemed like season 11, they made up the difference for what they didn't do in season 10. I think they tried to capture some of that magic of the Coco Lissa thing by having Aquaria and Cracker there together. People that were not quite rivals, but the world saw them as such. I like that they brought Eureka back, but also, what did she do different this season that she wasn't doing before? Has Eureka ever done anything super groundbreaking or different from the time that she was on previously? Like Ginger Minj. I think Mohart is criminally snubbed this first episode and should have won. And I think Drag on a Dime, it could have been safer on All Stars. This would have been a great All Stars 10 merge challenge, but then Ginger probably would have gone home. Suck on that tea, Barbara. Honestly, I don't like season 10 at all. It's one of my least watched seasons. I will go back and watch a lot of them, but 10, you kind of have to pull my teeth to get me to even get close to it again. I'm gonna put this really low. I regret rating season 18 where I did. I can't swap them because of the rules of this thing, so I'm gonna put it at position 14, but I would swap it with season 18 because I would watch season 18's premiere again. I don't think I would want to watch season 10 if I didn't have to. So I'm honestly confused why it's rated so high, because I don't think there's a lot of strong points about season 10. Coming in at another score of 8.2 is RuPaul's big opening from season 6. A lot of people regard season 6 as one of the better seasons across time and space. I don't share that exact same opinion. I have a lot of problems with the way that they address the contestants in the room who don't do femme drag. I don't like the conversations about giving boy or giving butch. I think that those are problematic. And so nothing can be done about that now. But regardless, it rubs me a little wrong. I do like the initial hook of the episode though, and the items that they were given to construct materials. I love a design challenge episode 1. We get some great early storyline. There's a good mix of personalities and backgrounds with drag. Rue seems like she's having a good time, but Michelle seems pissed off the whole time. So for some of the mechanical issues that I have with season 6, I would put it lower, but I know that that's sacrilege to say, and there's gonna be season 6 fans who are gonna lose their in the comments. I just don't like a lot of season 6. I guess I'd put it at spot, what else is coming up? I put it at spot 11. Coming in with a score of 8.2 is RuPacalypse Now from season 4. Okay, Barbara. Sharon Needles is the most problematic winner of Drag Race, period. End of conversation. This is a banger season for a lot of different reasons. You got all the production that is already being set up in episode 1 of the characters like Sharon, who the room just is not vibing with. And that tension set up early informs a lot of how we're meant to perceive the season, is this underdog queen who does alt drag, and then sort of changing the face of what Drag Race was, which was about high pageantry and glam up until that point, and they completely flipped the narrative on its head. Regardless of how I feel about Sharon now, that story is impactful for what they were trying to tell. That drag really is for everybody. That it doesn't belong to one visual at all. Chad Michaels was such a name in the drag scene, and having her there for this season is groundbreaking. Another go out and source your materials, riffing off of The World Is Gonna End in 2012. Great on topic, finger on the pulse of what was going on that it used to be much better about doing back in those days. This is the premiere episode that introduces the entrance in the workroom and say a quippy line. Milan is the first person in Drag Race history to do it, because up until that point, you had the girls coming in, squeaking the door open, and hi ladies, hi. Milan comes in and says, hey, there's a new girl in town, so let's get to it. Fierce. And I love her line, it is brain rot to me, where she says, and you can't take it from her. Period. Season 4 has such a great premiere, even if that season's winner has aged badly. The overall season is strong. Willem coming in and being a force right away and pissing off everybody, and Latrice being the polar opposite of that, this bright, lovely energy in the room that resets everyone. Lil Kenya Michaels just being a lunatic right off the bat. It's great. I'm gonna put it at rank number 2. You cannot beat these classic seasons with the stories they were telling. No matter how overproduced or manufactured they just were the tea. Coming in with a score of 8.3 is Rada Queen from season 16. This is the season that changed the franchise and added a gimmick that will always be included in Drag Race now, I fear. And they will never replicate, I think, the success of that first Rada Queen, because no one wants to be the plain Jane. Everyone comes onto Drag Race and wants to be as well known as Jane, but nobody wants to make a swing the way that she did. By screwing over Nymphia in that Rada Queen challenge, she changed the game. She changed the way that everyone would perceive Rada Queen. She changed the way that the show was navigating the social game. She pulled a Naomi eliminating Manila, and that was gag-worthy TV. Now, I know that Plane was not in episode 1, and that is beyond the point. It still is a gag-worthy moment, because episode 1 played the game so safe with Rada Queen, and then episode 2 came in like a wrecking ball. So I guess in comparison, episode 1 is less exciting than episode 2, even though you've got Saphira Crystal coming in and giving probably one of the most interesting performances that has ever happened on a Drag Race talent show. Same with Q. There are wonderful moments that happen, but it's not as electrifying as episode 2 is. And so I think by comparison, the premiere episode is lower for me, because I would rewatch episode 2 before I would watch episode 1 again. So for that reason, I'd probably put it, I'm running out of spots here, besties. Ooh, I'm gonna put it at number 12, but I would put episode 2 way high up on the list, because that would have been a way better premiere, I think. Coming in with a score of 8.3 is Keeping It 100 from season 8. I'm confused why this is not higher. The photo shoot challenge, where they had all the previous winners, sans Bianca Del Rio, of course, and they subbed in a clown, is the perfect way to celebrate the legacy of Drag Race. And I wish that every season of Drag Race featured alum in their premiere. That photo shoot backdrop is the textbook definition of what is. If you were to write down the word CVNTY, you would see that photo right there. God, it's so good. The cast of characters, Team New York coming in and immediately dominating the energy of the room, while everyone is vying for attention. This is the kind of dynamic that I think they were expecting from Team Connecticut in season 15 or Team Florida in season 18. Like, they're always chasing the Thorgy, Bob, and Acid Betty dynamic in the room. It's what I think they were expecting from the 5 New York girls in season 10. They set up archetypes in this season accidentally that would be pursued for many years in Drag Race and trying to replicate that. But no one can be a Thorgy and a Bob and an Acid. Those are so specific archetypes of human being. Cool design challenge idea where they bring in all of these old design challenges and make them redo them. They need to do that again. This needs to be beyond the season 15 ball. We need to see this challenge come back multiple times. Because with how many design challenges we've had over the history of Drag Race, this would not get boring. IMHO. Season 8 is the motherfucking key to me. I would put it a lot higher, so because my ranking is getting a little tight, I'm gonna put it at number 4. Coming in with an IMDB score of 8.5 is One Night Only Part 1 from season 15. I get why it's rated high. It's tough because this is a great group of queens, and I like the premise of it all, introducing them separately, doing the fake out that they're the only ones that are there, or that it's gonna be some different type of split premiere, only to merge them all together at the end of it, giving them legacy photo shoots of the Gone with the Wind challenge as well as the Drag on a Dime challenge. I think that's really fun as a photo shoot, and I wish that they would recycle old photo shoots and pay homage to them more often, because this is a good time and I think the cast is great. What really I think is apparent from episode 1 is that it is a couple of polished professionals in the room against several greenies. And while there is something to say about the premiere episode being one polished queen against several others who are not quite there, I'm thinking like a Carmen Farala in España or a La Diamond in Italia 2. I think this late into the Drag Race universe of this franchise, having one legacy member, someone who is so well known in the drag sphere. People had been talking about Sasha Colby for almost a decade before her season. On the show, off the show, in all those one-off WoW shows, she got brought up all the time because Sasha Colby is a legend in the drag universe and has been since she came onto the scene. Sasha quite literally transformed what SoCal drag looks like. And so she quite literally is a legend. There was no way she wasn't going to win that season. And then you've got queens that walk in who are like, yeah, I've been doing drag less than a year. And so I think it's just very apparent early on that this season was not in favor of anybody but her. That's not her fault. That is no shade to Sasha. That is full shade to production, because their job is to make it a mystery. It'd be like if you did a Food Network competition and brought in Bobby Flay and a bunch of hometown cooks. Like, of course Bobby Flay is gonna win. And so I like season 15. I don't have any problems with it. I just think that as a premiere episode, I don't know if it captures the excitement that they wanted it to capture, because I think it's just pretty obvious what's gonna happen right from the get-go. I don't have a lot of spots left, and I know the last 2 that are coming up are ones that I would put high. So I'm gonna put season 15 at my 13th position, but I would probably swap that with season 1. If I could non-blind rank these, I'd probably put it at position 9 and then season 1 would go lower. Coming in at a score of 8.9 is Oh My Gaga from season 9. This is the first premiere where no one went home, and for that reason, it's exciting. We get a cliffhanger of a returning queen, but we don't know who it is. Lady Gaga was a perfect premiere guest. I loved her coming in, pretending to be a contestant, and then immediately getting clocked. Oh, this is the Derek Barry of the season. Great cast of characters who all brought equal amounts of drama and interest and intrigue from the moment they walked in. I was aware of Valentina, so I was very excited to see her there. The campy conceptual queens like Anino Bonina Brown who walked in and were doing things that were so different for Drag Race. We were getting a lot of great stories that drag is not, again, just this one simple narrow-minded idea. That it was open to a lot of different interpretations. Even Sasha Velour being so different and alt from what we had seen before and getting a prominent highlight in this episode, I think makes a lot of sense why this is rated so high. And I think this sets up a great archetype to go forward of episode 1, no one's gonna go home. We're gonna celebrate y'all, get to know you, see what you can bring to the table, and then you've got time to go home later. I would definitely put this really high up. I'd put it in my 8th spot since I only have one other position open. But then it bums me out because the last one that's coming up at a score of 9.1, it's I'm That Bitch from season 12.
Oh, wait a minute, bitches.
It sucks that I blind ranked the way that I did because I'm That Bitch I would definitely put higher up. I don't know where I would put it though is the problem. Maybe I'd put it at number 5 and swap it with season 14? Here's why I think I'm That Bitch is rated so high on IMDb. This was a time of turbulence for the world, and we all needed drag at that time more than we ever did. We needed to have some sense of comfort in a time of lockdown, where we were all at home and not sure what was going on with COVID. And so this show coming back and having such a brilliant intro, this incredible song, I'm That Bitch, and the queens killing their verses, being the most iconic girl group of all time, I think, right next to Reggie Wrote You. I can remember every single lyric of these words, and the only other song I can think of that I know all the other lyrics to are Break It Bye Bye, the Frock Destroyer version, of course, Bing Bang Bong, the United King Dolls, Papa Fate, and then this. This is the blueprint for a perfect girl group setting. The cast is amazing. The split premiere at the beginning, the outfits that they have to put together, a recycle of what they did in season 7, but somehow better. It's overall perfect. There is nothing wrong with this premiere, I understand why this is the highest ranked premiere. And again, I'm sad that I didn't leave more space on here and didn't think about season 12 as I was rating all these, because it's definitely higher. But anyways, those are the facts of the IMDb scores of all of the premiere episodes. Did they make sense to you? Because they kind of make sense to me. There are some that I would replace the order. I think that season 4 and 5 are definitely really high and should have been higher up on the ratings. I think that it makes sense why season 12 is number 1, and it makes sense to me why season 13 is at the bottom, because season 13's premiere low-key sucks. What would be your ranking of the premiere episodes? Let me know in the comments below. Keep an eye out for more fun videos like this in the future, because I've got a lot planned. Be sure to check out the Patreon as well as my Extravaganza Extra membership. You can find the link to the Patreon below, and the Extravaganza Extra membership is right here native on YouTube. I will see y'all on the flip.